Next week it'll be me.
Always technical difficulties, but it is
Alex
all
interview
right.
win.
And today's special guest is going to be Elena, aka ChiaSnax. So we have our entire broadcast team on the desk today.
Yeah, we have our executive
Let's
producer.
go.
Yeah, our executive producer, ChiaSnax.
I mean, making
from
sure that
Milwaukee
we
Bucks,
don't mess
baby.
up.
The Milwaukee Bucks, baby. Where is it? The Buckies.
That's
That's all we got
Baby.
today. The Milwaukee Buckies, because I don't have a Bucks shirt.
You really like if for the legacy ones, we should eventually just make the shirts.
Just make
Yeah,
all their
dude.
shirts.
I'm down.
I mean, I think there should be a trophy, but that's me.
Sure. Well, who are you gonna send it to? The captain, like the point of contact?
no, we
No,
just
engrave it. You
we
engrave
we
it.
just get
Yeah,
a central hub.
Make it
Yeah.
Like,
out
you know?
of tin foil.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
has to move out to LA.
Yeah, there we
Mm.
go. We can
All
have
right,
like a
you
Hall
paying
of
my
Fame
moving
with
costs?
like a trophy case. We could do a trophy
Exactly.
case in our room, Elena, and just have like it on the wall, and then one trophy for each team that wins. Look
And
at that.
take
Love
a
it.
picture of it.
Yeah.
And have it
Y'all
as our
just get the
background.
glory.
Yes, I get all the trophies.
Ends
I
up
mean, that's
being
true. How
pretty-
many times have you won, Elena?
One.
Oh, okay.
Ginny is the one who's
Ginny
won the
should
most.
be holding the trophies.
Yeah, just whoever has the most victories. All right, well, let's get us started with our first game, which is our only game to
Wait,
be
what the heck? You
reviewed
have
for-
bubble tea, Elena?
Brian, you have some too. It's next to you.
Oh my God! I'll be right back. You guys talk.
No, Brian, it's right there. It's on your desk.
Oh, okay, okay. I see it now.
which is gonna be True Art Destiny versus Not a Better Scuttlers with a True Art Destiny victory.
Crazy. I don't remember this game either.
Dude, let's remind Colin what happened there if we can get that queued up.
Yeah. I mean, Colin made us and his team made us work for it for sure. Game 2. And this is a fight that honestly almost went sour for us. And then we realized, oh wait, they're just stuck there and we kite them forever. But this is a clip from game 1. Game 2 was a lot closer, particularly Chilwang on Yorick was just ruining my day, honestly.
Wait, who picked that clip? Because I can't help but notice that me and Dan are both dead in that clip.
Yeah,
And
that would
that
have
sounds
been
like
me.
sounds like a Colin move. Oh, it's you. Oh my God, betrayed.
Dan. Like, you can't
I
make
also
yourself
died in
look
that
good
clip,
every
so
game.
Yeah, it's emphasis
Literally-
that all
literally
the
it's-
analysts die.
yeah, it literally starts with Zoidberg MD has been slain. So
I
That's
mean,
why
what you
we're
don't
the
see in that
analysts
clip is
and not the
me
pros.
dying.
Yeah.
Because I died right before that.
Let's ask the hard question, Colin. What the heck happened?
What do
Like I was
they-
expecting a silver scrapes, and we went
Sure.
2-0.
Sure. It was a hard fought battle. Our mid laner, just trolled and wasn't good. No, they're True Art Destiny is a really good team, and they're really well practiced. They practice a lot, and so a consequence of that is that they have a really consistent game plan. Like they know what they're trying to accomplish every single game, which is something that I can wholeheartedly say my team does not have right now and is working towards getting. But like it's hard to play against that when you don't have a concrete plan. So you're constantly on the you're constantly responding to plays instead of making plays. And we've been really good about that this season. We've actually been pretty good at having counterplay and making the right decision when a play happens to us. But we need to start being more proactive on the map, and that's what we're planning on bringing against MBB.
Wait, I have a question because this was on my mind during the series. Why the Cassidy ban 2 games? That's all I want to know.
Can I
That's
phone
all
a
I
friend?
wanna know.
Can I phone a friend?
Who's the friend?
It's Limich. I swear to God, dude. Like, so we started planning bans, and he sent his 3 requests or his 3 bans that he thought was good for the team, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. Why Cassidon? And he was like, Cassidon's just really strong. It's like, okay. And then I looked at pick ban for your entire season. I looked at pick ban and looked at stats of when you picked mid laners and how often you picked your mid laner in the first rotation and a bunch of other stuff. and I couldn't figure out why we were banning Cassidon, but my entire team was like, "Nah, we're banning Cassidon." I was like, "All right, I mean, whatever. Guess we're banning
Guess we're
Cassidon."
banning
And so we banned
Cassidon.
Cassidon twice.
Jeez.
At the end,
Man.
honestly, like I don't think that was the issue though. Like I don't think banning Cassidon or not banning Cassidon is the issue there.
Yeah.
Like we are a reactive team, and when we're up against a team that makes really good proactive decisions, that's going to be very hard for us to beat, and so we have to adjust. And
Oh, Colin's gone.
Oh, his internet died.
No.
At least he finished his thought.
He did. That was
Yeah.
actually a good segue
Into.
into
Oh,
oh, he's
Are we
back.
back?
Hello?
Get oh
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
yeah, no, my camera's for sure off. Hang on. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can get it
That's
back
okay.
on. There we go.
there we go.
Oh,
Sorry about
yay.
that. My
That's okay.
internet is not behaving tonight. So as I was saying, yeah, when we're up against a proactive team that makes really good proactive decisions, it's going to be really hard for us to play that style of game. And so we have to get better at that, and that's what we're working on.
Yeah.
Man, this is a
Right.
little bit spicier than usual talks, homies. What's oof.
We're close to the finals, man. Like there's what, six teams, 5 teams left?
5 teams? 6
I think there's
teams?
six teams. Yeah, there's six
6
teams
teams.
left. Like, and we were that fight right there was to be, up in the final four basically. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit more serious now. I got to defend my finals streak of 1.
Final streak of 1. Hey, I've reached the semis, right? Technically.
Yeah. So there you go.
So I've hit my streak. Time to make the push for finals.
Yeah.
And victory.
Elena eliminated me last year, and I plan on returning the favor.
It was in
Ooh.
the finals, though.
Yes, it was in the finals.
So
Speaking of streaks, let's continue our streak of doing our segment hosted by Daniel. Dan Stats.
Oh boy.
We need a
Stir-
jingle.
Song
Need a
now. Let's
jingle.
go.
I do not want a
Dance,
jingle,
dance,
but if you guys want a jingle,
Dance stats.
we all love dance stats.
well,
We're
today
a fan
we
of
have
Dan and his stats.
our junglers from the highlight match of this week, I think, NBS versus Milwaukee Bucks, baby. Particularly C9 Mediotes compared to Offerstein, and
He
honestly,
will correct you and say it is offer stay hand.
oh really, Offerstein.
I don't want to get yelled at.
Okay.
How dare you, Dan? It's like
Yeah.
he does math, not English.
Yeah, there you go.
Ouch.
Or German? Question mark.
True. But we see here Mediotes with a very obvious lead in almost all categories, but the GPM and DPM are pretty close. And I think these both junglers really match well against each other as they're both looking to try and make plays in particularly bridging mid game. But we have our Milwaukee Bucks member. So, Elena, what can you say
Yes.
about our good Charlie?
Look, Charlie's the best. He's the hypest boy with the best champ pool that includes champions other than Kane. But
Nope. Only Kane.
look, as we could see from these stats, Charlie's leading in everything, and he's gonna lead this game to our victory. The camera's not on, Brian.
Not even saying anything. Oh, well, I mean, okay. Okay, what's interesting for me here is that Offer Stehen, whatever.
Yeah.
Off. There we go. He went off in the regular season comparatively in terms of like stats. Like, yeah, like John leads in all these stats. John actually has the lead in the regular season playoffs between like himself and Charlie. But Charlie's flipped the script in playoffs. Milwaukee Bucks maybe has just kind of looked like a powerhouse in the bottom side of the bracket. They kind of just totally annihilated EXO, and then they had a tougher matchup against GB, but like ended up looking pretty decisive in the final game to put them away. And I think Charlie's a big part of that. Like, yeah, the meme is Kane, and he plays a lot of Kane. He's gotten in a band out, many, many times. But In his last game on Sejuani, he broke open the game, was able to like play on the bot side, snowball them out, and then it was pretty over. So they're definitely on a roll. But on the other hand, like I'm curious what John's stats look like, or Shane's whatever stats look like if you take out like the THD series and you just look at the series before. I'm not really sure how hard they were nuked in
I'm.
our series or not.
I
Because
mean,
I would like to point out, just really quickly before we jump into this, you're looking at the stats of one team that has won. You've played 3 series,
We played
They played
two
two.
series.
two
Their
series.
total,
We both played two series.
So you
yeah,
have
their
two
total game
series
score
with
is 4 and
wins.
1. Yeah, 4
Yeah,
and
so
1.
you have 2 series with wins, and we have 2 series with 1 win and 1
Yeah,
loss.
you're 2-2 and they're 4 and 1. So
Yeah,
definitely, like I'm curious what the stats look like in like the wins only and the losses only. But I do think that yeah, like here the Milwaukee Bucks maybe look like they have a edge, but I think like Off Shane is pretty important, especially in the mid game for NBS. In the games that they've looked like really good, it's Opperstein like popping off in the mid
yeah,
game, like getting online. Yeah, and it's pretty interesting because like you have Hecarim highlighted here, and like I think a lot of people view Hecarim as like a really early game champion that needs to get going really early in snowball, and Opperstein is like kind of done it a little differently. He's like farmed out in the early game, and then in the
yeah.
mid game he gets into the game, finds his places, and once he's able to like get backline and stuff like that, he's able to make a lot of work happen. So what I'm curious here is like if any of these change. Like I'm really curious too on like in the early game, like does offer shame like a ton of first bloods or something like that? I can't
he
imagine he does considering.
he's currently leading the playoffs with first
Wow.
bloods,
But
but
how
that's
many
because
does
most
Meteors
people
have?
have two.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I
Yeah.
believe Charlie might also have two. Let me double
Yeah,
check.
I'm curious if he can keep that up
Charlie has
and like
none so far.
yeah, I'm curious if he can keep that up and like play an aggressive early game against NBS, who seems to be like a pretty strong early game team.
Yeah, I think one of the really interesting things here to look at as well is like I think this shows a pretty distinct difference in play style. Whereas like for especially for kill participation, like his kill participation is going to be down because we play a lot of solo lane, right? Like
Mhm.
we focus high priority on split push, and so our jungler like inherently is not around those solo kills. And then also we try to roam up there, and so our jungler sometimes is just not around.
Tell me
Um,
about it. My kill participation
Oh
took
my
a dip.
god.
yeah, and so like I think these stats also show like that distinct playstyle. Like we have a split push playstyle right now. That's not the only playstyle we can play, but that's what's been working for us in the playoffs at least. And so we're focused on like that's I think that's what these stats show as well.
I think something that's really interesting that's not encapsulated on this screen, if we're talking stats between these two teams, is the biggest thing that stands out to me is actually the ADC for NBS. His vision score is the second highest vision score on the team. He's played some Ashe, so that's part of it. But it actually dominates everybody else that isn't their support player QE. Like it's 43.6 per game. The closest to him is Offershane with only 28 per game. Goes down to like the mid and top like the mid top laner sitting around 25 27. So yeah, Lynch is actually like really carrying a lot of the load in terms of like damage stats, but also in terms of like getting vision on the map, scouting for players and finding flanks, etc. um yeah, so pretty impressive. He's kind of the full package and he's shown it like so far in the playoffs. I think against them he was the most consistent performer when THD played against NBS. So I'm really curious to see like if he going face to face against Nick Mead and ChiaSnax, which has looked like the most dominant bot lane that we've seen in the tournament so far. Curious if he can keep that up and also like bring the damage to the table too. What's interesting is like if we're talking about vision score too on MBB, the person with the highest vision score obviously is Elena, but then second to Elena is actually Avis Argentia with
Oh, Joe.
45.6. And Joe has more than double the vision score of this third highest on the team. So Joe's actually in the mid lane putting out a ton of vision, keeping himself safe. And I think in the playoffs he's really seen an uptick. Like Joe's been playing really well in the playoffs. Um, like being like a really like honestly a hard carry in the mid lane in their series, some of those games against GB. So I think like it will be pretty interesting like series because like in the regular season they played just purely through the bot lane MBB, but now that Joe is not only carrying the load defend with regards to damage, but also like with regards to vision, he's like been able to control the map a lot better. and direct MBB and funnel their goal to where it needs to be, direct them and funnel the other team into objectives. I'm just doing a really good job. So this is going to be a really, really good series. I think Dan said like the future matchup and like
Yeah.
the stats show it.
Yeah,
With that,
looking forward to it.
let's go into predictions, which we're gonna start off with Acid Rabbits versus THG, which is I'm actually very surprised more people didn't choose Acid Rabbits, though there is possibly some bias with
Hang on, hang on.
three.
A small
We need to focus on
amount.
We need to focus on Elena's picture though first. Holy shit! What a baller photo!
Coming
I'm
for you.
ready. It's the hashtag buckle up.
What a
That's
what
the
a fucking
hashtag
baller
buckle.
photo
Hashtag
you
buckle
threw
up.
out there. God damn. All right, sorry. I just needed to draw attention to that.
Twitch, if you could just start spamming hashtag
buckle up.
oh fucking
Here, let's start it.
Good
hashtag
lord.
buckle up buckaroo. The worst.
So Adam, why is Acid Rabbits winning?
Very easy. They're just really good. Like they play like even though they don't seem to practice much. I don't know. Maybe they're doing it in the secret like server somewhere. But like,
It's
They're
called
on the
late at
Chinese
night.
super server. Chinese super server.
ooh,
I see it. They got the
I-
invite.
and
Yeah, I hear they've been scrimming TSM and winning.
I mean,
I mean,
I realize
mm,
that's not saying much at this point, but
but I think that they're just like Aoki's and like his entire team is just gonna put up such a crazy fight. I I mean, it could go either way. I can see it. It's like pretty much 50-50 for me. But like, I think that's the way this is like 4-5 is kind of betraying what I would think is the actual split. But I would love to hear from our guest, ChiaSnax, about this matchup.
yeah, because she's not going to be biased at all.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Definitely not biased.
yeah, I don't even know her. Stop looking at me.
Look, I just think THD already lost to Acid Rabbits when they were super down. But now, I don't think Brian's going to let it happen for the second time, right, Brian?
I don't know.
I don't
Should
know.
ask Dan.
what do you
Our
mean?
bot lane. Dan, we saw your 2-14 line in Clash.
Oh my god, the meme continues. Did you see me pop off with Soraka?
There's no way you're gonna pop off with Soraka in our game against Acid Rabbits. So let's
Yeah,
just
So,
stay within the realm of reality here.
But look,
So-
I
Fine,
still
fine,
feel like.
fine.
I
What about the
still
1-1
feel
and
like,
10 Leona game in Clash? Come
oh
on.
my god.
Too soon. Too soon. Oh my god, Misa's now putting hashtag
What?
2/14.
uh,
Also,
so
it was 2-12. I'll have
some
you know.
actual
Alright.
analysis. Yeah, I think first they have played already. Brian's team, the True Heart Destiny, has not lost since they played that game. That is not the case for Acid Rabbits, who have lost since they played that game. I genuinely think True Heart Destiny is the better team. Like, I think they have more consistent. I think they are more consistent in their wins. I think they have consistent game plans that are built around their opponent versus built around their own strengths, which is very interesting and really well designed and seems to work very, very well. And I think, especially in a 3-game series where they have a chance to adjust, I think if they do lose a game, I think they're easily going to be able to identify why they lost and be able to adjust. And I don't think that's something that a lot of teams can do very quickly on the fly.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. I think THD's mental is pretty good. And I also think that AR still isn't that proactive. They haven't really been tested that much either. Like, they barely had any close games in regular seasons, and then playoff has kind of been a wipe so far. But THD has been feeling in the dumpster recently until the MBS game where they popped off. So I think they're going to take it through the second game or their next
Glad
series.
we could fix your mental.
Yep.
Thanks, Colin.
Yeah,
You're welcome,
you know.
guys. That you know what? It was a sacrifice for friendship, and I needed to help you guys out. I knew you guys were feeling
There
a
you
little
go.
bit
Well,
down, and I was
Gotta
just
get
like,
me Gotta give me the edge in our
Yeah,
predictions.
maybe
just give me the
we're
six
building
man
the
award.
narrative for you. Yeah, we're
Yeah, just
building
give
the
me the
narrative
six
for
man
you,
award.
so you can come back to the finals and beat us and
There
get
you go.
revenge.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean it's gonna be a pretty good series. Like obviously they're the only team we haven't beaten, and they're the team that's beaten us. So like, we have a chip on our shoulder. We want to win. Um, I do think we match up in certain areas like pretty well. Um, yep, and like we'll have a game plan prepared. We haven't
Well,
even like I think ever since our NBS series we haven't played a single practice game or anything, which is not great on us. But
Hey, Clash is
um,
good practice for us.
for you, I didn't play Clash. I was doing work and playing
And
Tarkov,
Tarkov.
mostly playing Tarkov. Yeah.
lots of Tarkov.
Um,
But
yeah.
let's see if another team has a plan between second breakfast and deep dive, which is going to be a little bit more split over here. Second breakfast being I think the underdog compared to the deep dive prophecy. Uh, let's start off with uh let's start off with Brian. We usually don't start off with you. Why
Let's
do you think deep dive is going to win?
this is really close. Like 55-45, maybe 50-50. I don't know. Um, I do think deep dive it has the momentum. And that's honestly the biggest argument I can give for them. Like, they haven't lost a game in playoffs. They've kind of just smashed through everybody. Um, yeah, like they're looking in good form. Um, their top laner has been pretty nuts playing weak side. He's been able to hold pressure and get away with it, and not even just get away with it, but like carry off of it, which is pretty nuts. Um, Lil Muffin has found spaces because their top side is held so well. He can find whatever he wants in middle, and especially through the bot lane. Their bot lane is as strong as ever. They're just a team that's really on a grind. Their mid laner has like solo killed people and like been able to move map. Like the team looks really good. Um, yeah, so I think I have like the edge on them. But on the other hand, Second Breakfast, even though they're coming off of a pretty tough loss to NBS, um, wait, no,
AR.
AR, where they got, like there's no way around it. They just got stomped into the dirt. Um, their mental might be like a little fragile at this point, which is why I think I'm giving it to deep dive. But on the other hand, they do have some like keys to the game that they can really run through. I mean, their top side is pretty dominant. Misa, when he's in form, is really dominant, can take over games, and did so against GB. And I can see that against Good Boys as well. Even though Lil Muffin looks stronger, like I think Misa can show that he's on another level. Um, and that's big. And then Nick in the GB series was also on another level. And I think like yeah, in terms of top side, they can match and potentially just like beat Deep Dive's top side. On the other hand, their bot lane has been a sieve, and continues to be a sieve throughout the playoffs, and it's a little bit unfortunate. They are subbing in Kadeku, which is interesting because Kadeku is more of a playmaker, and that's something that they need actually. So it'll be interesting, and I think like that changes the dynamic of this matchup and changes the dynamic of this team. So now the series is even more unpredictable. But I think Deep Dive is probably my vote. Um, Maybe it's a 2-1. Maybe they finally bleed. Um, but I think Deep Dive will take it home in the end.
Uh, let's go ahead with Elena. Why do you think second breakfast is going to take it?
Jeez. Two reasons. I picked SB because I believe in in Mayo's hardcore aggression. I think he's one of the most aggressive players in the league, and if he gets going, he's able
Hey,
to
we
find.
talked to the dude. He's aggressive as hell.
He's a look. He's able to find the flanks he needs. He's able to go backline and kill the carries when he needs to. And I think if their top lane just gets going, it's gonna be over for deep dive. Also, I picked SB because I'm too scared of the prophecy. I need them to lose so that we don't go against them next.
Don't worry,
I
we'll
need it to
make sure you
break.
guys don't go against them.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Mayo can do. Even though I have like a personal bias because he's a good friend, I think that he is just so aggressive. But also, Nick in the mid lane, uh, really has shined in a different way in some previous games, and I'm hoping to see more of that, some more plays, especially in the mid to late game, which I think they tend to have a little bit more trouble with, especially because I think they are very solo lane dependent right now. So I'm hoping that they kind of get their team together and bring it to deep dive, but it should be really good. Collins, Dan, anything?
I mean, Tim's gonna slap Mayo around is my prediction.
Holy
wait,
dude,
Ooh,
wait,
hot
more
take.
Wow.
All right.
I mean, it happened already in the
It
Yep,
regular
did.
It
season
exactly.
year
did.
To
with
this
deep
day,
dive.
he still
Yeah,
calls him that Mordekaiser player.
yeah. I mean, deep dive's regular season was, like no hold, like no mincing it, like a disaster. They came into playoffs 1-8 and did not do so hot in the regular season, and obviously now popped off in the playoffs, and that's great. But if you look back to their 1-8 start, that one win was against Second Breakfast in a game where that Mordekaiser player absolutely slapped around Mayo. Um, so in a way, like history can repeat itself. Even for a team that has decided to buckle the chains of history. Um,
Buckle
in their
up.
playoff run. Yeah. So I'm curious. It might happen again. Maybe he does it on a different character, and
Yeah, and
Mayo is gonna be like, oh, that Mordekaiser and I don't know,
Set.
whatever, Camille player, whatever.
that's what I'm thinking is that Mayo has fortunately decided that going Renekton Ignite top is not always the best choice. But Colin, I believe you wanted to say something here.
Oh, do I? So, Daniel, what's your last name?
Are you bringing up the fact that I'm not voting for my brother's
What's
team?
your last name?
Andrade, you can read it off there.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say another Andrade is about to destroy his coworker in the jungle. He's going to take it
Okay.
hard
Going
to
off.
Scott. There is a massive jungle difference, I think, in this game. And Scott is a
True.
great friend, and I think he's really good. But Misa's on another level, and I think that's really gonna be exposed here. And I'm really excited to see Misa pop off in these games.
Dan,
mean,
weren't you in the Clash games with Misa? He was amped up.
Oh
I saw
my
that
god.
grade.
honestly, that almost made me switch my vote because Misa's looking really scary.
Misa's on a tear right now. He is not gonna go down easy.
True.
True.
Yeah.
I got
Uh,
you, Misa.
Plus, I mean, honestly, playoff Mayo is a different beast than like regular season
Regular
Mayo.
season.
Elena saw it last
It's
year or
true.
last season when they won with top Mayo being
Ugh,
or playoffs Mayo just being nuts.
please don't
Colin
remind me.
remembers it.
We all
So
remember it.
yeah, I mean they had a bump in the road with AR, but they're looking to take revenge on deep dive. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they won either. But
Look, also, wait, just to hype up Mayo a little more, I'm just saying, Tim has been spamming the Baldur's Gate, but Mayo's been on the Star Wars grind. Star Wars a
so
little more mechanically intensive. So
yeah,
we're gonna
Star
give
Wars
it
Squadrons.
we're gonna give it
oh,
to
he's
Mayo.
been
Yeah.
spamming squadrons.
I need somebody to
Yeah.
clip that for me.
He's gonna play it. I mean, he's just been flying planes. Is he gonna play like top Corky? Is that
Oh
is that what
yeah.
I'm trying to look
With
for
his
here?
aim, he's never
Top
gonna
UFO
miss a
Corky?
skill
He's
shot.
he's not
Uh-oh,
even playing Squadrons. He's playing Knights of the Old
Yeah.
Republic.
What? Never mind. Where's your mechanical argument now? Oh my gosh.
Okay, look, it's better than the Baldur's Gate where you're point and clicking time or turn-based game, right?
They're both point and
Right.
click.
Whoa, Knights of the Old Republic is in real time. You could just pause it, but you gotta
You
make
can
some
pause
reactions,
it.
and mines are really tricky. Anyone who's played Knights of the Old Republic, sometimes you just get screwed over by mines.
Look, you can pause tournament games whenever you want to.
Rude.
Misa
I don't know about
Misa
whenever you
says
want.
Misa says that he's on that Genshin Impact grind though.
Oh
Mm,
gosh.
true that.
Alright, I can see. That's more mechanically intensive than the first two, at least. So
Yeah. Uh, we'll go. Our last prediction, I believe we already kind of discussed between Milwaukee Bucks baby and MBS. Kind of
I'd
obvious
like to
Ooh,
between.
bring that
Buckle
up.
up.
the
I
Bucks,
would like that brought
baby.
up
Milwaukee
on the
Bucks,
screen.
baby.
Bucks,
Okay.
The
baby.
Bucks,
Colin, do you have
baby.
any? Do you have more to say? I thought.
What is happening?
Hashtag buckle up.
Alright, we're not trying to flame
What
you
what is happening?
because. So here's my problem. In my honest opinion, NBS and MBB are better than Deep Dive and SB.
Oh
Like I think
god.
that side of the lower
Shut up.
bracket, I think those two teams are the stronger teams in the lower bracket. I think all the teams are fine, but like MPB is on a tear just like Deep Dive, but I think they've been tested more with like GB at least, and I think they just like look really good. And then NBS like against us, like I think the second game was really competitive, and like in their last series against GB, they also like had to go through GB, and it was also a pretty clean series. So I think like these two teams have been tested and are really strong, And facing off here, it's like a little bit sad because I think I might have like if NBS was against SB, I probably would have voted NBS. Um, yeah, and same for like MBB versus Deep Dive or something, I probably would have voted for MBB. But here, facing off, like I am leaning, my bias showing I'm leaning towards MBB right now. I think their bot lane is just too dynamic, and Joe with this new lease on life in mid lane has a pool that's wider. They're taking games slower. They're closing out. In the regular season, MBB could have been like 7-2 or something, but there's some like phenomenal throws they made in the mid game that they couldn't close out. Like these games, like the one against JB, where they had like everything in their pocket. Like that game was done until they let it go. And that hasn't happened anymore in playoffs. And if it doesn't happen in playoffs, MBB has one of the most aggressive early games in the league. Has some of the strongest like individual laners in the league. Their bot lane is unparalleled, and that team is really, really dangerous if they've actually learned and are able to put it together through 40 minutes of a game, 35 minutes a game, etc. So, sorry to Colin. Both your teams are crazy strong, but I have to favor MBB in this matchup.
I'm sure
I'd say
bot
like,
lanes are
yeah, 60-40 or so.
I
such as
mean,
like Aoki and Barry Allen are rolling their eyes right now with the
I've got
unparalleled.
one response to that we've been
Unparalleled.
talking about male playoff buff. Elena playoff buff is also a thing. Elena's looking really, really scary.
It's time to
Might have been that
chill.
Yeah, it's
that game
Elena's
that
been
she
pretty
played with
nuts.
Double Lift.
Yeah.
Oh
That
yeah.
Morgana game, yeah. Like there are two games for me that stand out more than any other games in playoffs so far. Hilariously, one of them is on a player that's been unfortunately knocked out. That Galio game by Ginny was actually like out of this world. Colin remembers that. Um, once they got that off the board, Ginny was chill. You guys were chilling against them, but that game was scary. But the other one was Elena's Morgana game, which was just phenomenal. There was a moment where she 1v4'd like GB in the topside bush, lived and killed two of them. Like there are moments like that. I think Elena's on a tear, and NBS has to figure out how to keep her down, keep her in lane, keep her, away from your mid laner, keep her away from like your jungle where she can find them. Like how to suppress Elena is going to be a key in how NBS takes over the series and upends these predictions.
Mhm.
Hmm. With that, Elena or anybody who's looking at the chat, is there any questions that we would like to pose to the show?
I think we only had two troll questions. Misa wants to know what shirt Colin's wearing. Is one of them. It's Stranger
Is
Things.
it? Yeah, it
Stranger
looks like
Things.
Stranger Things.
There you
Yep.
go, Misa. There's your shirt.
I gotta rip my. For those who don't know, my entire industry is completely shut the fuck down right now. So my typical job right now is running the Chainsaw Scare team at Halloween Horror Nights for Universal
Ooh.
Studios, and I have done that for the last 5 years. So this last year was one of our mazes, was a Stranger Things maze. So
Ooh.
repping some
Ooh.
Halloween shirts recently.
I don't have any Halloween shirts. What? I have a button down. You can't see it though. No cam. Oh my god.
Misa. Wait.
I don't even know if Colin's ever seen me in a button down. I don't know
Wait.
Wait,
if
I
it's.
really
Brian's
haven't.
dressed
You
up for
inter
the one
when
stream he's not on camera.
again, just
Wait,
for
Brian,
reference,
just peep in. Scoot over.
for those
No,
that
no, no.
don't
I'm
know,
good.
Brian is the one that hired me to work at Riot, and he definitely was not wearing a button up when we met for my interview.
I think I
I
was wearing
believe it.
sweatpants actually. Yeah, I was wearing sweatpants. I was like, so.
Wait, we can look
Yeah,
at my
Misa.
shirt
Like
again,
Misa
Brian.
hired you. I just recommended to
Oh,
Misa to
did he
hire
just say
you.
that in chat? That's fair. That is
Wait,
fair.
did you?
Misa did
Yeah, yeah,
hire
yeah. I was like, hey, Misa, you can give this. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's right. Wait, was Misa wearing a button down? That's the real question.
me.
I can't.
Nah.
I
Probably
would
No,
not.
Misa
can't believe
never
it if he
interviewed
says
me.
yes.
Misa never interviewed me.
All right, I interviewed you and Misa pressed the
Yeah.
button, but was he wearing a button down when he was pressing the button? I really doubt
Probably
it. I
not.
really doubt it.
I
I feel
really
like
doubt it.
Misa does not wear button downs unless very specific instances,
Mm.
none of which would be work related.
And with that, with our troll questions out of the way, let's go over to our bracket and see how it looks. Look with AR, THD, DD, and SB, and MBB, SBS. We only have 6 more series in this.
Oof.
Exciting. Just exciting.
True.
Yeah. this week and next week is going to see the elimination of 2 teams, at least.
Mhm.
Depending on how quickly the reschedule happens, it could be up to 3. But yeah, these next 2 weeks are going to be. We're gonna have to start
Getting
getting
down
those sad
to it.
montages going.
Oh yeah.
I will
And
remember.
let's go ahead and get to our schedule, which is going to be Wednesday, 10:14 at 7 p.m. Second Breakfast versus Deep Dive. Thursday is going to be MBS versus MBB at 7 p.m. as well. And on Thursday, the following week, I believe,
Yes.
is going to be
Yes.
Acid Rabbits versus THD. A long term. It looks like we might be able to finish this series out by the end of the month, but we will see. The hope.
I
But
mean, if we don't, COVID's still here, so
Oh
we'll still be
yeah.
around, not doing anything.
yeah,
Here every
True.
Sunday.
yeah. Well, guys, really appreciate y'all coming on. Brian, Colin, Daniel, thank you so much for coming again and being on the analyst desk and hanging out. Today's show was a little bit more casual. It sounded.
Did nobody give us questions?
Misa wanted to also know why Brian is so handsome.
Oh yeah, you can see me in my cam, right, Lena?
No.
I mean,
Okay, see you
at
in
least
your
in the
cam.
photo, you have a haircut.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
you
true.
do
You
have
don't
a
want to see what my
haircut.
hair looks like right now.
He's looking very pompadour in that picture.
Pompadour.
One thing we can all agree at, though, is TSM would have finished 10th place in our league.
Yep.
Absolutely, 100%.
100%. They would have gotten 0. How many games did we had? 0-10 regular season.
09.
0-9. They would have
0-9
09.
regular season.
They would have
They
09
would have
bombed
found
out the
zero
group.
10. Trust me, they would have found out a way.
Damn. All the TSM fans, Nikolai, Anne Marie.
I mean, I'm a TSM fan, but I know
Ooh,
better.
Misa's also a
Nice, your
TSM
booty.
fan. You and Misa like the same team?
Okay, so I'm biased towards Fnatic more so than TSM, but I did have them getting out of groups, and then I was
Fnatic.
severely disappointed in my pick'ems.
Fnatic.
Oh, what a
Huh.
traitor. Oh my lord. We're gonna have a team chat about this.
Well, we'll talk about it later after the after we go offline. Elena ChiaSnax, our executive producer.
Wait. I asked Adam this question for like the past 2 weeks. All I wanted was for the analyst to do the Milwaukee Bucks baby chant. Can we do the
No.
Milwaukee baby chant?
No, not this week.
Look, I asked for the past 2 weeks. Adam ignored me.
I
Yeah,
did.
that's not my fault.
I do have the choice in ignoring questions. I do filter some things out for time's sake.
Good.
Alright.
And with that, we're out of time.
The
Thanks so
Milwaukee
much.
Bucks baby. Baby. Brian, we can see your underwear in the screen.
And with that, good luck to everybody. Thank you for joining us once again, and we'll see you on the Rift.
Goodbye.
Right.